What PPE or personal protective equipment is mandatory on a job site? I love this topic. I'm gonna go off with some passion on what's required, why it's important, and answer some questions that we've been getting on this topic. I literally could not be more excited about this. So if you're interested in that, stay with us. I'm going to get right down into it. I'm just going to go right to these questions. I believe that there's 6 of them. We go to great lengths to figure out what are people asking and then give that information right back. This channel is for you. And we absolutely love doing this. So let's start with number 1. What personal protective equipment is legally required on most job sites? It's different from Mexico to the United States to Canada, and it's even different in Europe. So I'm just going to use the United States as a base. As you probably heard in a recent podcast on the Elevate Construction podcast, in OSHA enforced rules and the safety culture of construction has reduced our recordable incident rates by 80% over the last couple of decades. And so it's working. We're doing really well. So nobody could say OSHA is just annoying. Actually, I've never not passed an OSHA inspection with flying colors, so I don't know what the problem there is exactly. But we can say definitively that OSHA is making a massive impact in the safety and health of our workers and our foremen, our people on our project sites. We 100% can say that. And so depending on where you are between California or the overall United States, as a general rule of thumb, you must have decent work boots. It's not required all the time to do steel-toed. It is in some areas, you'll have to research it. But you'll have to have full-length pants and a shirt with 4-inch sleeves. Again, the pants is not required in Canada, but I'm just going to use the United States as an example, right? You must have high-visibility clothing or a vest when out on the construction site when heavy equipment is operating, where you could be struck by or caught between something. And you are required to wear a hard hat anytime you're outside the building. And I'll tell you how I feel about it later, but when you have overhead exposures, and glasses and goggles when eye protection is needed. Now you'll find that most of the top 100 general contractors have just been I'm done, I'm not doing the recordables anymore. And their rules are, you will have substantial leather boots past the ankle, you will have full length pants, you will have shirts, most of the time with a collar, but not required, but definitely the 4-inch sleeve is required, high visibility vest, hard hat 100% of the time. Some companies have gone to the modern, the company that people are mostly familiar with is the cask hard hats that are the helmet with the front brim and the chin straps, right? That I always show in my videos. It's the same one. 100% eye protection, Z87 rated safety glasses or prescription glasses that are safety rated as well. And then gloves. Hensel Phelps is we're done with hand injuries. And a long time ago, they were full gloves. So even if the project manager is out walking the job site, they have their gloves on. I love it. Now let me just rant just a little bit. I believe in 100% personal protective equipment. And actually the next question is, who is responsible for enforcing PPE requirements? The general contractor, all day long. You may not believe me, but I'm telling you this is effective. If you love the site enough, out of respect, you'll send them home if you ever find them without a pre-test plan, their safety equipment, safety glasses, hard hat, or anything else that's in the orientation or in the OSHA 10 requirements. They immediately get sent to a safe place. They can come back next day through orientation. We do not tolerate this mess because, and I have always found this and have tracked this, if somebody won't wear their safety glasses, they won't wear their fall protection and somebody is going to get hurt. So the other thing is, workers, us, managers, anybody only has a certain amount of mental discipline. It's an exhaustible resource. And so you've got to understand, do I want to invest that discipline in having people remember when to put their hard hat and safety glasses on or off or not? Or do I want them to spend their mental discipline on the big and the important things? I personally am nope, safety glasses, hard hat, PPE is a given. You don't even have to think about that. That's not mental discipline. That's not a decision. That's not an awareness. It's just a given. You wear it, and then we can use our mental discipline and our capacity, our mental resources for things that are most important. On the project sites, whenever I run projects, nobody is on the project without their PPE. Everybody has their glasses on. Everybody has their hard hat on. Everybody has their safety vest on. Everybody has their gloves on, or they do not work there. That is the best way to do it. How do you get trades to follow the PPE rule without constant conflict? I'll tell you. If you send them home or punish them out of punishment culture, it's going to be a problem. I do not ever, in any circumstances, anywhere in the world, believe in punishment culture. Ever. I believe in respect culture. Why do we send somebody home for not wearing their PPE? Because I respect them and their family. Why do I have crews stop and clean up if they're messy? Because I respect them and the trade next to them. Why do I do barbecues on site? Because I respect the workers. Why do I have nice bathrooms? Because I respect the workers. Why do I, do morning huddles? Because I respect the workers. Let's get dramatic here, ladies and gentlemen. Why do we have prisons? Because we respect society and the individual, and we are keeping them separated and safe. We've got to get out of this theme of punishment. We don't do anything ever to punish people, but we do act out of respect. And if you truly respect somebody, you will not let them do something wrong, and you will not tolerate it. If one person is on the site without their glasses, their hard hat, or their PPE, it's because the project superintendent said, I such and such approve of that. If he didn't or she didn't approve of it, it wouldn't happen. So on my projects, no, you come to a Jason site, clean, safe, organized, every single time. And if you don't, you will not work here. In fact, they used to call me the I love you guy. I'm like, hey homie, I love you. You're on the top of that ladder. We're going home. You can come back tomorrow and I'll explain exactly what went wrong, notify their company, go get the tools, the training, or the mindset that that person needs. They can come back. Every job I've implemented this, 2 years, 380 people at the peak. I've only ever had to send about 20 people home. Not a big deal. And they came back the next day. So it didn't hurt their career. It didn't hurt their paycheck. Didn't hurt anything. But what it especially didn't hurt is them, because I didn't walk away from them doing something that's not safe. And I also do want to say, there's a question, can PPE improve productivity? I want you to watch the movie, the 1970s movie Patton. You'll notice that in the movie, the Allied forces went into the war, got their butts kicked, we got our butts kicked, and then Patton comes on the scene and starts to implement discipline, training, standards, right? And he was like, they don't look like soldiers, they don't act like soldiers, they don't train like soldiers, of course they're gonna get beat by the Nazis. I always tell the workers in daily morning worker huddles with the whole site, which is one of the best things I've ever done. We have to look like construction workers, act like construction workers, we have got to prepare like construction workers, train like construction workers. As soon as we cross that fence, we have our full PPE on and we are ready to go at high alert, ready to go do our jobs. It does improve productivity. How do I handle crews that push back on PPE? They push back because they know they can. Like there's some things where being stubborn isn't great. Your boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, being a wall, being stubborn ain't gonna work. And with your kids, it ain't gonna work. Don't do it. On a job site, when it comes to safety, cleanliness, organization, it's great. You be as stubborn as you possibly can with love, out of respect. Hey crew, you wanna fight with me? That's fine. You won't work on site. Like that's it. No negotiating it. Everybody on the project delivery team is on the same page. They push on you because they know they can. As soon as they know that you are a wall with this, they will stop messing around and they will either leave or they will get on site and toe the line. Whatever you tolerate is what will happen on the job site. And what's the right way to lead compliance? Safety professionals all across the world will argue with me about zero tolerance, but I think you should trust me because I'm a real superintendent that's run real projects. I know what I'm doing. There's no other way than zero tolerance based out of respect. They don't get a choice. Now, you cannot tolerate it in nice ways. I don't tolerate it by sending people home. Another super doesn't tolerate it by doing bi-weekly, meaning twice a week, field walks with the foreman and having them correct these things. Either way, we're not tolerating it. Whoever's confidence is higher, whoever's dream is bigger, whoever's desire is greater, will win out. And you have got to get the motivation to put your shoulders back and your chest out and be like, I will be the driving force with this, and make a decision and decide not to tolerate, because the success of your project is determined by the worst behavior you are willing to tolerate. And if you still don't have the motivation, go watch the movie Patton and come back. I promise you'll get there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm gonna put the links for some of these fun resources in the description below. This is the way. I've tried it over and over, and it works everywhere we go. On we go.